They called it the War of the Years. A son seeking justice against a father who turned into a monster. But before the lightning struck, there was only silence.
Imagine a family where the father eats his children. The sons grow up to wage war against the universe. This isn't a horror movie. This is the story of the gods who've sworn revenge. Before there were kings, there was only the void. Out of that silence, the first sparks of existence appeared. Gaia, the earth, and Uranus, the sky. They were the parents of the Titans. But Uranus was a tyrant who feared his own creations. He looked at his children and saw only threats to his power. To stay on his throne, he locked them away in the darkest pit of the world, a place where no light could reach. But there was only one Titan who was brave enough to strike back. It was Cronus. With a jagged sickle in his hand, he waited in the shadows. When the moment came, he tore his father from his throne. While Uranus was suffering in the shadow of betrayal, he whispered a curse that would echo in his ears forever. Just as you betrayed me, your own blood shall betray you. Cronus didn't just take the throne, he also took the fear of his father. That curse rang in his ears every single night. He looked at his newborn children and didn't see sons or daughters. He saw his own end. To stop the prophecy, he became a monster worse than his father. He didn't just exile his children, he consumed them. One by one he swallowed up all, trapping them in the eternal darkness of his own stomach. But the fate cannot be eaten. After Cronus devoured almost all his children, his wife Rhea decided to do something. When her youngest son was born, she tricked him by giving a stone wrapped in blankets instead of a baby. Cronus swallowed the stone, thinking his throne was safe.
But he was wrong.
While his siblings were being consumed, this last child was hiding in the deep shadows of Mount Ida. He was getting raised by nymphs, fed by a divine goat, and protected by warriors who clashed their shields to drown out his cries. He wasn't just growing up, he was getting prepared. He spent every second of his life training for a moment. And when the time came, he returned. But not as a son seeking love, but as a storm seeking vengeance. He was the only god who was more powerful than all the others. The rebellion against Cronus didn't start with an army. It started with a single stolen life. but Cronus was a mountain of muscle and ancient magic. To win this war, Zeus needed more than just courage. He needed weapons that could make even the King of Titans bleed. He descended into the terrifying depths of Tartarus to find the forgotten prisoners of the old world, the Cyclopes. In the heat of the underworld's fires, they forged the weapons of the future. For Zeus, they created the Master Bolt, a spear of pure white lightning that could level entire cities. But Zeus knew one thing: he couldn't kill a Titan alone. He returned to his father's palace with a secret plan. He gave Cronus a divine potion that forced him to unleash the trapped gods. In a burst of light and fury, the children who had been trapped for years were finally free. First, Poseidon stepped out. He was the master of the deep blue. His eyes were cold like the bottom of the ocean. The Cyclops gave him a powerful trident, a weapon that could command the waves and make the entire earth tremble. Then Hades, the Dark Prince, came out. He became the god of the underworld, the land of the spirits. For him, the Cyclops forged a special helmet. When he put it on, he became invisible, not just to the eye, but to the mind. He moved like a shadow that no enemy could ever catch. This was the start of a war that would last for 10 years. It was a decade of fire, blood, and screaming skies. The universe became a slaughterhouse. The battle reached its peak on the plains of Thessaly. The ground was covered in the blood of gods and giants. Zeus stepped forward, his hair flowing like a storm cloud, his eyes burning with white light. He threw a massive lightning bolt, a spear of pure energy, straight at his father's chest. The explosion was so bright, it blinded the sun for a moment. But Cronus did not fall. The King of Titans roared, a sound that even reached to the stars. There was blood all over him, but he was angry. He swung his massive arms, shattering the mountains around them as if they were made of glass. Zeus dodged the blow by a hair, moving like a flash of light across the battlefield. As Zeus distracted him, his siblings moved in with perfect timing. Poseidon struck his trident into the ground, causing the earth to split open beneath Cronus's feet. From the shadows, the invisible Hades appeared for a split second, slashing at the Titan's ankles with a blade of darkness, weakening his giant form. They weren't just fighting. They were hunting. They were draining the old world's power, drop by drop, minute by minute. The end finally came on the highest peak of the world. The Titans were tired. Their ancient bodies were broken. Cronus, exhausted and surrounded by his own children, looked up at his son. He saw the same fire in Zeus's eyes that had once been in his own. Zeus gathered every spark of energy in the universe. The sky turned black, and the air began to hum with electricity. He threw one final powerful lightning bolt. It didn't just hit Cronus, it shattered his very soul. And then it all went to black.
The Titans were defeated. They were dragged down to Tartarus, a prison so deep that it would take an anvil 9 days to fall from the earth to its floor. The gods locked them away behind unbreakable gates of iron and bronze, guarded by monsters with 100 hands, ensuring the old world would never return. As the dust settled, the chaos stops. The fires died out, and the screaming winds turned into a gentle breeze. Zeus sat on his new throne at the top of the Mount Olympus, with Poseidon and Hades by his side. The age of monsters was over, and now the age of gods was going to begin. For the first time in history, the world was finally safe. But don't forget, in a world of gods, peace could only be the silence before the storm.